Hey everybody, I'm Carolyn, your Tranquil mentor. Today we're going to be making a faked whipped topping mug topper. It's for the little Rae Dunn inspired hot cocoa mugs. This one measures 2.75 by 2.75 by 2.75 inches. I have a thick piece of white foam from Michaels, and I thought I would use the thicker foam on the bottom as a foundation for the whipped topping so I could decorate the sides with some sprinkles and glitter later. So right here, what I'm doing is I've traced the top of the mug and cutting out a square, and then I'm just going to take my scissors and cut around the shape of that square that I've drawn. And little bit by little bit, I'm going to conform that shape better and better each time. And I'm rounding out the edges here right now. It's kind of a square shape, but it's off a little bit. So I think what I'll do here is just try to see. It looks like I just have too much overhang, and I think it'll show. So what you want to do is have the least amount of overhang that you can. So I'm going to just take my pencil again and go around the shape, angling my pencil in a little bit more so that I can get a little bit more of a precise image around there, a precise sketch. So we'll try this again, and you'll see that I just have it a little bit closer in, and I'll trim that around. And the best thing to do with this is just to take your time and keep resizing it, taking it back, taking a look at it again, just to make sure that you have it just right. And here I'm just flipping it around to match up the original shape that I used. So if we size it up a little bit more, I don't think that's quite right. So let's trim it and get it a little bit closer in, and maybe this side a little bit more, and a little bit around. Maybe I'll round off these edges a little bit, and just little pieces at a time. And then I'm just going to try to carefully shave that so that I have a good, I don't want any pieces sticking out or anything. So I'm just going to take my fingers and burnish the edges there. And the foam was pretty forgiving as far as being able to burnish those edges down. It really did conform back down. But I think, if I was to do this again, I would use the thinner foam, and I may not be able to decorate it the way that I want to, but I think it would just be a little bit more hidden. But as we go along, we'll see how it goes. You just never know. So there you have it, and I'm happy with the way that this is sized right now, and we can just firm up our edges a little bit more, and we're all set. And here are some little foam craft balls, and I got those from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to take my knife here. This is an old cake knife, and I'm just going to take that, and we'll cut this in half. And then, of course, I don't use the cake knife again. It's just in my arsenal of tools, and it works out really good. So I'm going to take these halves, and I am going to put them on the top and the bottom. The top will be for the faux whipped cream, and then the bottom will hold it in place so it's not wiggling around. Not totally necessary either, but it's fine if you wanted to use it for that. And I thought what I would do is, since we have a square shape and not a round shape, I will take some of these edges off here and get it shaped up just right. And we'll see. I think that fits a lot better, and it'll give me some room to work around, put some of the faux whipped topping around those edges there. And I'm going to just trim a little bit more so I have a little bit more to work with. And the foam helps you save on your faux whipped cream, and it also helps with, and it's actually spackle, it's lightweight spackle, but it actually help you save on that. Plus you'll have a build, you can build it up, and that way it will have a shape to it where it's just not going to collapse. You can build up a nice little peak of your whipped topping. And I'm just hot gluing that on. And later I'll do the bottom. I'll glue that bottom on, and I have some parchment paper here that I put down. And I have quite a few pieces that I put down, and I have that Ziploc container. And here, this is from Walmart, the Fast and Final by DAP, and it is lightweight spackling. It's important, from what I understand, for us to use that. Just an old spoon here. And I originally thought what I would do is put my spackle into the container, but I didn't do that. These are by Wilton. I got them at Walmart. I felt that I needed to get something like this first because this is my first time doing it. So I wanted something that would stay together. I think later, once I get used to it, I'll do it another way. But this is a cup that I got from Dollar Tree a long time ago, and me and my son hydro dipped it, but it's tall. So I put the Wilton bag down in, and I filled it up with that faux, or with the spackle from Walmart. And I filled it all the way to the top, and you can see I practiced a little bit on that before and just wiped it off. So you can always practice if you want to. So I'm pulling up the Wilton bag, and I've got that popped out there. And what I'm going to do is just press that to the bottom of it to get it started in that tip. Sorry, I'm out of camera. Okay, here, that's better. Okay, and then I'm just starting a practice piece right here. I'm gonna just see how it goes, that we're all in shape before I actually go on to the little styrofoam. So I'll start at the edges here. Everything looks good. I've got the end pieces. The end piece is a star shape, and I'm just gonna go around, and I've watched people do this before. So what I'm trying to do is kind of blot in a little bit so I get a little bit more of a shape. And I didn't want just straight lines. I wanted it to be, look a little bit like it was, shaping around. I know that's not making sense what I'm saying, but look a little bit more realistic than just a straight line going around, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, I finished up and I made a little peak on top. And I didn't ever get any cherries or any little red pom-poms for this. So I didn't put anything at this time. But when it's soft like this, once it hardens, you would have to hot glue it on. But I just never got to that point where I had a cherry available, and I didn't buy any from Amazon or anything. So I just left it. But next time I'll do that. I think that would add a lot of color to it. And then since I'm finished with that part, with that topper, I'm going to let that dry. And I have some left over. I certainly could have put it back out and stored it away, but I was curious about doing this. So I got a little red Solo cup out of it's just Dollar Tree little red cups. And I got these out of my stash that I had, my craft stash. And I've always wanted to use them, never had a use for them. And so I thought right now I'd take them out. And here I'm building everything up just with tin foil. And what would have been a good idea is to pile that foil up, and then I would have had some, something to work with, and I would have been able to pile it up. So I'm doing the best I can here, just learning. And I thought I would make a few of these with some of the leftover spackle. And this will go on a tier tray, and I'll probably put a little Starbucks emblem on it or something later on. But I'll decorate that and put some sprinkles and some glitter and hearts and all that. And I'll get that up. And then what I do is, and I'm just cleaning up the edges here, I'll make 2 more. And and then, you know, I'll have a total of 3. That glitter that I'm holding up is from Joann's, and it is very, very old. I've had it forever. So I'm taking my glitter here. This is pink, and just coating it, and it's still wet. So I'm, you know, going to take all my colors, and then I'll do another pink one, and then this one I'll use the blue glitter, and just sometimes it's a little bit hard to get it opened up, but I'll get that next color ready, and I'm planning on doing a real pretty blue. Oh, I love the way that looks. That's a pretty color. And this color, what I would like to do is green, and my plan for this one is to be able to put it on my St. Patrick's Day tier tray. So I'm going to decorate it for that. And the other 2 will go into my Valentine's tier trays. And I got some parchment paper out, and I folded that up. Oh, and those are from Michael's, and it's in that aisle where it's sort of with the children's crafts. It's not in with the scrapbooking stuff. It's in with the children's crafts, and it was there's just a lot more bang for your buck, I feel. There's hearts and everything in there, and all kinds of little confetti and things like that. What I'm going to do is I have this little quick cuts thing that has a little foamy, sticky stuff on the end of it, and that helps me pick everything up. I did get a use for that Ziploc container after all. I put the hearts in there, and I am placing each one on. I did try to sprinkle. I was going to try to sprinkle that on, but I like to save my glitter, and I accidentally mixed all the glitter together. So you'll see what I do with that later. But normally I would take each independent sheet, and I just like to filter it right back into my container. And sometimes it doesn't happen that way, so that's okay. So we improvise a little bit, and see, I realized that I did it. So that is going to end up being rainbow colors. And then what I'll do is I'll put that into a separate little baggie, and I will have rainbow glitter, all the pretty colors. So I usually make a seam, and I fold my parchment paper in half, and then that way I'll be able to put it back in. So I am trying to now, you know, drop some of those sprinkles on, or drop some of the hearts on, but then I'm still strategically placing them because I know exactly where I want them. And sometimes you have to push a little bit more out. And I used to use it with my quick cuts, and I'd be able to pick up little pieces of paper. So I'm putting all of those in there, and that's pretty much where I want everything, is that way. And some of them, what I did was I took them and I just stuck them in sideways, and I love all the colors that they have and how pretty it looks together. But this tool comes in handy for things like that. And sometimes after a while you do have to wipe it off because it'll pick up a bunch of other things. It's probably picking up some of the spackle is probably what it's picking up a little bit on the end. So I have to clean it off a little bit, and then I can go back and pick those up. It just made life a lot easier for me to be able to do it. And I use it for rhinestones too. So it's a handy little tool that I've always had. If I try to tweezer these on, you know, that gets they just keep sticking to it. But it worked out okay. I did some of them with the tweezers, and then I did some of them with the quick cuts. And here we are. This is the way that they came out. All the hearts are in place. And then what I did for the green one was I put only gold hearts on it because I thought it'd be good for St. Patrick's Day. And then here's the blue one with the pink and purple hearts on there. And I really like how that turned out. I'm pretty excited about how these turned out. I learned a lot, and you know, it's my first time doing it. I practiced a little bit with other spackle, and it went okay, but the right tools for the job were important. And I'm taking little skewers and I'm holding a place for a straw because I don't quite have straws yet for the little solo cups. So this one is fine. I had that on hand from the holidays. So I'm going to take that, and I'm having trouble getting in because of the styrofoam, and I was trying to get into the styrofoam and it wasn't working. So I just put it into, got the straw in there and just put it in. And it's good to do this now because this way you have a little opening. Now the skewer sticks will hold an opening for a straw, and later I put a red straw that's just from the store that you stir your coffee with. They're just red coffee stirrers. But this paint is the 3D paint from Dollar Tree. I bought every color I could find, and this pink is so vibrant and so pretty. And I want to put a little bit of syrupy topping on, like little drippings. So I'm practicing off to the side on my parchment paper first, and I'm going to take the little one and I'm going to just sprinkle it or spackle it on, basically make a little pattern, and it goes on very nicely. And it was just exactly what I needed. It's that 3D puff type fabric paint, and they had every primary color, and then they had this pink, and they had some, I believe there was black and white too. So I bought everything, and I know I'll definitely be using it. And any time that I go in, I'm just going to keep my eyes open if there's any more. I'm practicing again because I'm going on to the big topping. And this topper is dry now. So for this step, I'm just taking my drizzle is the word I was looking for. I'm drizzling this little topping or syrup on, and just making a little pattern up and down the side. And I just thought it was great. I really anticipated that there was going to be a lot of dripping, and there's not. So it was good because I feel like I have control over it, and I can put it where I want it to go. And some areas didn't come in exactly the way I wanted. So what I did was I just filled them in and just put some more drippings and things like that, just to cover in some of those spaces that it didn't go. Some of it ran out when I was squeezing the bottle, so I'm just filling in those spots there. And what I'll do is I'll leave those two to dry, and then I'll take this again, and in this is where that thickness comes in for the bigger foam you'll see over there, and that's what I wanted to decorate. So I took some clay, I ran it through my pasta machine, and I made it as thin as I possibly could. And I took a hole punch, and I punched out cupids, and I punched out hearts, and then I took my clay extractor, my Fimo clay extractor, and I extracted out some just like tiny little noodles, it looked like, and I extracted those out. I guess it's called extruder is really what the word is that I'm looking for. And after those were all finished, I extruded out a bunch of those little strands like spaghetti, and they're very tiny. And then when they were dry, I baked them because you have to bake the clay. I baked it, and then I cut them up, and you'll see those a little later. But for right now, I'm just taking that and making a nice little edge on there, and it's kind of supposed to look like drippings. And then these are the little cupids, and I, of course, as usual, want them placed a certain way. And so I'm using my tweezers, and I'm just gonna go around and put those little cupids where I want them, and they came out really good. So whatever hole punches that you have, you can run your clay through your pasta machine if you have one. If not, I've seen people just roll it out. They just get a thin piece of 2 thin pieces of wood and a rolling pin, and they roll it out as thin as they can get it, and then bake it according to the instructions, and then they use like a piece of paper, they just cut it out. And then here's the hearts that I made out of that, also that red sculpty clay. And the sculpty clay that I used for this one was the Craft Essentials is what I used for all this. That was the Michaels brand. And I didn't know what to expect from it, but it worked out very well. I felt that the clay was very easy to work with, and I didn't have a hard time getting it softened, and it really came in handy. You know, and especially it's what I'm getting at here is it's much more affordable, and I felt like was getting the same effect, and I was able to save some money and have a whole lot of sprinkles and any color decorations that I wanted. And you know, a lot of times I have the clay, but I think, oh no, now I'm gonna go on, you know, Amazon or you know, Etsy or something. I'm gonna buy the sprinkles and, you know, the faux sprinkles, and that's fine because there's a lot on there too. But this was nice because I didn't have to wait for anything, and as long as I had the shape and the hole punch and the tools, I was able to make these in the colors that I wanted and what I had on hand. So, and here I'm just taking you know, some of the more of the hearts and just pressing them into place, and you know, putting them on, picking up some of the other ones. And I did some with my hands and some with the tweezers, but I would say a lot with my hands. So you can see the cupids and the hearts are on. And then what I'll do next, oh, a little escape heart, I got to get that back on. Can't miss any. All right, and here are the pink sprinkles that I made with the pink clay, the not Joann's, Michaels Essentials, I think they call them, but it's Michaels clay. It's their brand, or Craft Essentials. That's right, and that's the one from Michaels. So I used pink, and I just used my extruder for my clay and extruded those out. And then after I got done putting the pink sprinkles on, I went and I did more glitter, and I just put, you know, the glitter on the plate, and then I'll reuse that glitter and put it back into my little holder. But for now, we'll let that dry. And you know, I really like the way that came out. I didn't know what to expect. I was a little unsure about using that thick foam, but here is how it turned out. That my gumball machine is in front of the view here, but you can see it now. And then you can see the little guy with the Starbucks behind it. But I really enjoyed doing this, you know, and I practiced a little bit, but this was really my first time. And I think what I liked about it was using that DAP from Walmart. I think that was the most successful that I was during this, you know, practicing when before I started. And then also, I'm sure that the Dollar Tree lightweight spackle would be fine, but I just didn't have any luck with it. So what I did was I just went and you know, got the tools that I thought I needed for the job, and that was the Wilton bag with the star end already in there, so I didn't blast anything out. But all in all, I am just so excited with the way that they turned out, and it was overall a good experience, and I learned a lot, and I hope you did too. And I hope you enjoy this video as much as I enjoyed doing it. And as always, thank you for watching my video. Thanks for stopping by. And if you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And as always, I will see you in the next one.